making headlines. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu reaffirms his unwavering commitment to strengthening the nation's decentralized governance system. The Parliament passes an amendment to the Judicature Act seeking to reduce the composition of the Supreme Court from 7 to 5 justices. City's minister says that politically motivated decision-making is hindering effective decentralization.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening and welcome to PSF News in English. I'm your host Ahmad Imad and I'll be continuing with the details for this evening's stories. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu reaffirms his unwavering commitment to strengthening the nation's decentralized governance system. This declaration was made on Decentralization Day, a nationwide celebration observed on 26 February, commemorating the implementation of the country's decentralized governance structure across its administrative regions.
In his message, President Dr. Muizzu underscored the administration's dedication to fortifying the decentralized framework. He used his official X account to underscore the government's collaboration with citizens to ensure meaningful empowerment. Reflecting on the significant measures taken to address community challenges, President pointed to island visits, council consultations, and direct citizen engagement as key components of his approach. These interactions exemplify the administration's resolve to gain first-hand insights into local conditions. Pledging to visit every inhabited island twice during his term, the president has been working assiduously to empower local councils and women's development committees. This hands-on approach highlights his commitment to local governance. Additionally, identifying and rectifying issues within the decentralized governance system has been a focal point of his efforts. By convening meetings with nearly all local councils, several of them more than once, he aims to pinpoint challenges and develop effective solutions. Over the past year, numerous issues raised by local councils have been addressed successfully, demonstrating the administration's responsiveness remains a key priority, with recent additions such as Ufulandu within Maduvvari, Ra Atoll, and Tawa. Empowering WDCs has also seen notable progress, with a landmark decision to provide Ramlan allowances to their members. Stimulating economic activities at the local level, the administration has leased uninhabited islands to local councils. In a further demonstration of commitment to local governance, the administration is embarking on an extensive project to construct local council secretariat buildings. 150 local councils with new buildings, with groundbreaking ceremonies for several projects already completed.
The Parliament passes an amendment to the Judicature Act seeking to reduce the closely with the nation's constitutional principles and ensure it serves the best interests of the people.
As the highest judicial authority in the Maldives, the Supreme Court wields considerable influence over the nation's legal framework. The amendment bill, introduced by Abdul Sattar Mohammed, the representative of Huludu, garnered robust support during Wednesday's parliamentary session, with 68 lawmakers endorsing the proposal through a roll call vote. Speaker of Parliament Abdul Rahim Abdullah explained that the roll call vote was necessitated by a technical issue with the electronic voting system. Lawmaker Mohammed articulated in the bill that it aims to reflect the deliberations of the earlier Constitutional Assembly. According to the bill, a 5-member Supreme Court, as practiced during the transitional period following the current Constitution's enactment, would better achieve these objectives. The composition of the Supreme Court has fluctuated over the years. Initially, the bench comprised 5 justices. This number increased to 7 upon the establishment of the permanent Supreme Court in 2010. The count was reduced back to 5 in 2014 under former President Abdullah Yamin's administration, only to be increased to 7 again during former President Ibrahim Mohamed Saleh's tenure. The newly passed amendment mandates that the Supreme Court bench consist of 5 justices, including the Chief Justice. Additionally, the Judicial Services Commission is now tasked with recommending the removal of any justice deemed unfit for their role, with such recommendations submitted to Parliament. A 2/3 majority vote in Parliament is required to remove a justice. According to the amendment, the JSC must propose the names of the justices it seeks to dismiss within 5 days of the bill's ratification. Parliament is then required to reach a decision on the removal within 7 days of receiving the proposal. The remaining justices will continue in their positions. The legislative process, according to the bill, is comprehensive, including weekends and public holidays. The bill also gives the JSC and Parliament the authority to exempt specific dates and technicalities mandated by laws and guidelines to ensure proper implementation. The current Supreme Court bench comprises Chief Justice Ahmed Muttasim Adnan, Justice Dr. Azmiralda Zahir, Justice Aisha Shujun Muhammad, Justice Mahaz Ali Zahir, Justice Husnu Al Saud, Justice Ali Rashid Hussain, and Justice Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim.
The Judicial Services Commission, JSC, announces the suspension of 3 Supreme Court justices, Justice Dr. Azmiralda Zahir, Justice Mahaz Ali Zahir, and Justice Husnu Saud. These suspensions have been confirmed by the JSC to PSM News as a consequence of an ongoing criminal investigation conducted by the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, the authority responsible for preventing and investigating corruption within the public sector. The decision was made pursuant to Section 25(0) of the Judicial Services Commission Act. Under this provision, the JSC is granted the authority to suspend a judge within 48 hours under specific circumstances. These include the arrest or detention of a judge for a criminal offence, notification of an investigation by an investigative authority, the filing of a case against a judge in a court of law, or the conviction of a judge by a court of law. Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Adam Sharif Umar, says politically motivated decision-making is hindering effective decentralization in the Maldives, describing it as a major challenge. Speaking at the opening of a workshop on strengthening the decentralization system in the Maldives, Minister Adam Sharif said the ministry is working with the aim of empowering administrative areas, developing islands and its people as enshrined in the Constitution. He said that the system is still facing numerous challenges despite 15 years since the introduction of decentralization in the country. The minister said local councils need more financial empowerment, while the councils also need to put in more effort to bridge the divide between the people and ensure public trust. However, he said politically motivated decision-making remains the biggest challenge to achieving this goal. The minister also hailed the great strides this administration has made in realizing the hopes and aspirations of the people in the decentralized system of governance. He described the establishment of close and cordial collaboration with local councils as the best step taken by this administration to strengthen the decentralized system. Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Adam Sharif Umar, says more awareness from all stakeholders remains the key to strengthening the decentralized system of governance in the Maldives. In his message to mark the 15th anniversary of decentralization in the Maldives, Minister Adam Sharif insisted that the system must work closely with the people, ensure their true participation and include their say.
He said that services and needs of the people must be organized with their say through an orderly system, adding that local councils should always be ready to respond to the concerns, criticisms and queries of the people, which is the true essence of the decentralized system along with the Constitution. The minister said the country's decentralization system can only be strengthened by more oversight, active participation and awareness from the government, parliament, judiciary, media and the public. He also called on all stakeholders to revive the concept of decentralization through respect for state functions, understanding that local councils are part or layer of the central government, operating within democratic and accountable principles, being transparent in decision-making, increasing public participation, and increasing public confidence in councils. Minister Adam Sharif said the government's primary aim is to financially empower local councils, improve infrastructure and human resource capacity and expertise. In order to financially empower local councils, the minister noted President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's landmark decision to place uninhabited islands under the jurisdiction of the councils, along with public services such as passport and national identity card renewal services, now being made available in the atolls. He said the people will witness the true realization of a decentralization system of governance in the Maldives during this administration.
The Ministry of Cities, Local Government and Public Works takes over 21 ferry stops in the north, which will be assigned to the relevant local councils for management. These ferry stops are part of the Rajya Transport Link (RTL), which connects the entire country through a single public transportation network of ferries and buses. The agreement for the handover was signed between the Ministry of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, RTL operator Maldives Transport and Contracting Company (MTCC) and the Ministry of Transport. Islands in Ha Alif, Ha Dal and Shavin Atoll have been handed over to the Ministry of Cities, Local Government and Public Works and will be managed by the relevant island councils. The ministry said along with the ferry stops, the commercial spaces will also be transferred to the councils, which will afford the opportunity for them to generate revenue. The task of linking the islands nationwide through transportation services has been assigned to MTCC, with operations divided into 6 primary zones. RTL has established connections with a total of 81 islands of 9 atolls through ferry transportation services. The government is planning to introduce RTL service in Ra and Ba Atoll by July this year. Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim says that the fortification of public healthcare services is inextricably linked to the enhancement of emergency medical services (EMS). He made this statement during his address at the launch of the Emergency Medical Services Protocol and the Mass Casualty Management Guideline.
The minister said in his address that the challenges confronting the healthcare sector extend well beyond the confines of hospitals and healthcare facilities. He said that the bolstering of healthcare services necessitates improvements in the services provided outside conventional healthcare settings. According to him, the principal challenges to healthcare are not merely the obstacles in service delivery, but rather the absence of a comprehensive mechanism to provide those services. He said that the administration is committed to implementing the necessary amendments, reorganizing healthcare services, and enhancing the overall provision of healthcare across the nation. He noted that numerous novel measures are being instituted under the president's administration, including preventative strategies that have not been previously implemented. The minister further noted the critical importance of reinforcing and strengthening the healthcare system to achieve significant progress. Establishing comprehensive systems would reduce costs and enable the public to fully benefit from healthcare services, he underscored. The administration's healthcare policies place a strong emphasis on expanding and reinforcing healthcare services. In addition, the minister highlighted the priority of extending emergency medical services to the outer atolls. The Emergency Medical Services Protocol and the Mass Casualty Management Guideline was officially launched by the minister and Payden V, the World Health Organization representative in the Maldives.
The president of the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC, Adam Shamil, insists on the need to introduce an asset recovery law to the Maldives in order to prevent and recover ill-gotten gains. The Maldives currently lacks a specific legislation to allow relevant authorities to confiscate and recover money and assets obtained through illegal means. Therefore, the ACC has drafted a book on asset recovery model law designed to offer an insight on how this process can be carried out through the current laws and regulations in the Maldives, along with details of the responsible state agencies. Speaking after launching the model law, the ACC president said the primary motivation behind corruption and embezzlement is wealth rather than the need to commit a crime. According to Shamil, money laundering originated to whitewash such ill-gotten gains, and if the primary motivation can be removed from the equation, there will be no need left for the offense. An asset recovery law is part of this administration's legislative agenda. The Attorney General has promised to submit the law to Parliament during its current session. The Maldives Monetary Authority MMA introduces the MMA Tamwil Islamic Finance Initiative, an ambitious program aimed at increasing awareness of Islamic financial services and expanding training opportunities in this sector.
Inaugurated by Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Saeed, the Minister of Islamic Affairs, the initiative articulates two primary objectives: enhancing public understanding of Islamic financial services and broadening training opportunities. In his keynote addressed at the launch ceremony, Minister Shahim lauded the central bank's steadfast commitment to financial education and awareness. He assured that the Islamic Affairs Ministry would continue to provide unwavering support and cooperation to the MMA in its efforts. Minister Shahim also underscored the critical role the central bank plays in advancing Islamic finance in the Maldives, drawing comparisons to the successes in Malaysia, where the sector has thrived under the guidance of its central bank. Addressing the function, MMA Governor Ahmed Munawar outlined the central bank's strategic initiative to boost awareness and expand training opportunities in Islamic financial services. A key feature of the initiative is the newly established Capacity Development Fund, which will be utilized to enhance sector-specific training. The fund's initial allocation amounts to $324,423.74 according to the central bank, dedicated to supporting educational and training programs in Islamic financial services. The MMA also announced that sponsorships will be provided through the fund for various courses and training initiatives. The International Center for Education in Islamic Finance of Malaysia has pledged its support to the Maldives Central Bank in these capacity-building efforts. Adding a multimedia dimension to the initiative, the MMA Tamwil Islamic Finance Initiative will feature a television awareness campaign. During Ramadan, a dedicated program titled Tamwil will air on Television Maldives, complemented by an Islamic finance quiz competition. According to the MMA, participants will have the opportunity to win daily gift cards worth $64.87 from BML Islamic, with the highest scoring contestant receiving the grand prize of an Umrah trip for two. The televised awareness campaign is a collaborative effort between the MMA and public service media. Other stakeholders in the MMA Tamwil Islamic Finance Initiative include key Islamic financial institutions such as BML Islamic, Maldives Islamic Bank, Allied Insurance, and the Maldives Center for Islamic Finance Corporation.
The information reports that Meta Platforms is in discussions to construct a new data center campus for its artificial intelligence projects, with potential costs exceeding $200 billion.
Meta executives have informed data center developers that the company is considering building the campus in states including Louisiana, Wyoming, or Texas, with senior leaders having visited potential sites this month, the report said. A Meta spokesperson denied the report, saying its data center plans and capital expenditures have already been disclosed and that anything beyond that is pure speculation. Last month, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said that the company plans to spend as much as $65 billion this year to expand its AI infrastructure. Since the launch of Microsoft-backed OpenAI's ChatGPT in 2020, investment in AI has surged as companies across various sectors strive to incorporate artificial intelligence into their products and services.
Syria condemned Israel's incursion into its territories and calls for it to withdraw at the closing statement of a national dialogue summit organized by Syria's new Islamist rulers to outline the country's political roadmap.
Israel moved forces into a UN-monitored demilitarized zone with Syria after rebels led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a former al-Qaeda affiliate, toppled former President Bashar al-Assad in December. Syria's condemnations came at the end of the sessions of Syrian National Dialogue that was held in Damascus to discuss the future of the country after the fall of Assad. Hundreds of Syrians met at the presidential palace in Damascus for the one-day event, held by proponents as unprecedented but which critics fear may be window dressing for a transition process steered heavily by Syria's new leaders.
They cleared it yesterday that this is the beginning of the process. So this is not the end of the game. This is the beginning of the dialogue process. So we have high hopes on this. And I think we should succeed on this because we don't have the luxury for this to fail. So we're taking things slowly, we're taking things on a bigger scale. We want this to succeed. So if this is the beginning, I think this is very promising.
Participants divided into 6 working groups to discuss a transitional justice system, the constitution, building state institutions, personal freedoms, Syria's future economic model, and the role civil society would have in the country.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Sadio Mane score in a 2-0 win for Al Nassr away to Al Wahda in the Saudi Pro League.
The Portuguese skipper headed in the opener just after halftime with his 17th goal of the current league campaign, which sees Ronaldo overtake former Real Madrid teammate Karim Benzema in the race for the Golden Boot. The 40-year-old 5-time Ballon d'Or winner is just now 75 short of amassing a tally of 1,000 official goals across his career. Senegal's Sadio Mane would add a second from the penalty spot deep into ends for the visitors after an Al Wahda defender was adjudged to have blocked a Ronaldo free kick with his elbow. The victory moves Al Nassr up to on goal difference. Al Wahda, meanwhile, sit rock bottom of the league with 13 points.
What started a few years ago as a small project for a locally manufactured car-shaped vehicle that can move on water turns into a major endeavor.
Jetcar Chrome was founded by an Egyptian entrepreneur. His vehicles that drive on water have been selling globally, from the United States to India. With a budget of $50,000 back in 2019, Karim Amin started his small project to manufacture vehicles that can drive on water. He started with a few vehicles driving on Egypt's north coast. His small project has grown into a large factory in Egypt's Giza, where he manufactures the vehicles on demand, specifically curated to his clients' personal taste. Most of the vehicle's parts are manufactured locally, he says. Only the engines are imported from Japan and modified according to clients' requests. According to Amin, he has manufactured over 950 cars, most of which are sold abroad. The total value of his project is now $5 million. Amin added that he exports vehicles to the United States, the Gulf, India, and many European countries, with most of his sales in the United States amounting to nearly 150 cars. One vehicle now costs between $20,000 to $40,000, depending on its specifications. The manufacturing of one vehicle takes approximately 20 days to finish. The 33-year-old's dream was to see his vehicle drive on Egypt's Nile. While he is proud to see them driven all over the world, he says he also enjoys seeing them in his home country.